two, one. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back into Key Time Sports. It's Key Time coming back to talk about Week 15. But first, let me start off with something. It has been brought to my attention that the last show that we had, it was a blackout, and I have informed my promotion team that we all made a mistake. So week 14, my week 14 reaction video, it was a blackout, and I apologize for that to my audience and to anybody that watches this show faithfully. I am I apologize for the blackout. So today's today's show is about week 15 of the NFL season. We getting down to the nitty gritty time, folks. Playoffs is around the corner. Christmas, New Year's is around the corner. Now it is time for us. Place your bets, people. Place them accordingly. Now, the first game I'm going to get into is the Los Angeles Rams and San Francisco 49ers. Now, this is a game where huge playoff implications is on the line. You got the San Francisco 49ers 6-7, the Los Angeles Rams 7-6. This is a de facto playoff game. If you do not know what the word de facto means, go and look it up, because tonight this is going to be a playoff atmosphere. And who do I have winning this game? Well, first I'm going to give you some stats about this game. The Rams offense is 17th in the NFL at 23 points per game on the offensive side of the ball. Their defense has a 37% stoppage rate on third down, meaning that the defense has a tough time trying to stop everybody on the field. And as far as the 49ers, they have been injury riddled throughout the season and decimated with injuries throughout the season. But now this is the time where they separate themselves from everybody and go on a winning streak. Now, is that going to happen tonight? I believe so. Now, everybody, currently the 49ers are a 3-point favorite. If you bet your bottom dollar on the 49ers, more than likely they would win. But be responsible in placing your bets, people. Be responsible, because I've already heard that there have been quite a few people that have lost their houses from early season football bets. Okay, so San Francisco, in this case, I believe San Francisco will win this game throughout. And also, I believe that the San Francisco 49ers defense will have a big game in this game. So I got the San Francisco 49ers winning by a touchdown in this game. And another thing I always say, when it comes to divisional games, both teams know each other. It's a matter of what you do best and can your opponent stop it consistently. The Rams, they have had defensive lapses all season. The 49ers been injury riddled, has had defensive lapses all season. But two of the two of the greater goods when it comes to this game is the quarterbacks. You got Brock Purdy, then you have Matthew Stafford. I believe Brock Purdy can wheel the 49ers to a win. That's why I'm taking them, and they will win by a touchdown. The next game I want to cover is the Kansas City Chiefs and the Cleveland Browns. So, Cleveland Browns, 3-10. Go ahead, get ready for the NFL draft. Also, Kansas City Chiefs, 12-1. If they win this game, more than likely they will have the home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs if they don't have it already. No, they don't have it already. So if they win this game, they will have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And as of right now, the Kansas City Chiefs are a 4.5-point favorite. I believe that the Chiefs will go into Cleveland and win this game with no problem, because Cleveland, they've been at a revolving door at quarterback all season. So, Cleveland Browns, need to just get ready for the draft, and Kansas City Chiefs, start printing out your playoff tickets for the AFC Championship game, because that's where you're getting to. That is exactly where you're getting to, because I don't see any other team. I don't see Pittsburgh. I don't see Buffalo. I don't see Cincinnati. I'm going to get into Cincinnati in a few seconds, everybody, because their playoff scenarios are mind boggling, and it's going to be mind boggling to you. But I don't see anybody beating Patrick Mahomes up in Arrowhead, up in Arrowhead Stadium. So the Kansas City Chiefs, I said early in the season, if the Kansas City Chiefs get to the Super Bowl, you might as well book them for a trip down to the French Quarter in New Orleans, where the Super Bowl will be played at. So I got the Kansas City Chiefs winning this game by 10 points. Cleveland, get ready for the NFL draft. The next game I'm going to cover is the Cincinnati Bengals and Tennessee Titans. So before I get into this game, I am going to tell y'all the playoff clinching scenarios for the Cincinnati Bengals, and I need everybody to stay with me. First of all, number one, the Bengals win the rest of their games. Number two, they need the Denver Broncos to lose 3 games, 3 of the final 4 games. Number 3, the Indianapolis Colts, Cincinnati Bengals need the Denver Broncos to lose 2 of their final 4 games. So, out of all of that, is that going to happen? Maybe not. Maybe not. But I said a couple weeks back, Cincinnati's season is over, and I'm sticking to it, because even though Cincinnati is going to win this game, I just don't see Denver losing 3 of the last 4, 3 out of their next 4 games. I don't see Miami losing their next 2 games, and I don't see the Colts losing. I don't see the Colts losing out for the rest of the season. I just don't see that. So Cincinnati, you had your chance to get into the playoffs earlier on in the season, but you had so many early season struggles. And you know what? All you NFL fans out there, we need to take a look at what Zach Taylor is doing in Cincinnati, because between the time of off-season training camp, off-season training camp, OTAs, mini camps, and then training camp, then it come to preseason, and then the start of the regular season. What transpires in the Cincinnati organization between April and through September, because they have no cohesiveness when it comes to practicing on the field. I mean, they look good in practice, but when they have to take it over into the game, it seems like the defense doesn't know what to do. The offense is trying their best to keep the team in the game. And that's what Joe Burrow said. He said that he knows, and I'm going to give y'all a quote. Joe Burrow, for the last 3-4 weeks, he said, I know that I have got to play a perfect game, because I know that my defense isn't compatible enough to get stops consistently throughout the games. When you have your franchise quarterback saying that the defense is not compatible enough to get stops consistently and win games, you are in trouble. That's all I can say. You are in trouble, because one thing I can say is that the quarterback is supposed to believe in his defense. And Joe Burrow, he's not believing in his defense when he says something like that. You have to look at the defensive coordinator. You got to look at the entire defensive coaching staff for that. So Cincinnati, they're between a rock and a hard place. Are they going to be able? Are they going to be able to win out and have those 3 other teams lose a couple games here and there? Maybe, maybe not, but I got Cincinnati winning this game by a touchdown because Tennessee, we know Tennessee, they were projected to lose. They were projected to lose the last few games of the season, and we are at the end of the season. Realistically, we are at the end of the season already. So, one thing about it, I got Cincinnati winning in Tennessee. The next game I want to cover is the Washington Commanders and New Orleans Saints. Both of these teams, New Orleans need to go and get them a quarterback because Spencer Rattler, he not gonna get you nowhere. Derek Carr has been in the league 10 years and haven't done anything, hasn't won a playoff game, hasn't gotten to a AFC championship, or in this case, an NFC championship game. So one thing about that is Derek Carr is just an average quarterback. He's just an average quarterback. And then you have Jaden Daniels in Washington. He is he is dynamic at the quarterback position, and also he has a dynamic running back and a dynamic wide receiver, Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, as everybody calls him. I believe he is going to have a breakout game this game. Now, as far as the playoffs, when it comes to the Washington Commanders, I believe this year they're going to make it to the playoffs, but they're not going to win in the playoffs because if the playoffs started today, they would be facing the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia. And we know that they have a tough time beating Philadelphia in Philadelphia. So, Washington, this is a good building block for you going into next season and the following season because Washington, they have their quarterback for the next 5 to 10 years in Jaden Daniels. Now what they need to do, they need to draft a every down running back, get some more wide receivers, get some more tight ends, and basically rebuild that offensive line because the offensive line has been a little iffy throughout the entirety of this season. So I have the Washington Commanders winning this game by a touchdown. Currently, right now, they are a 7.5 point favorite in the French Quarter. The next game I'm going to cover is the Baltimore Ravens and the New York Giants. I'm not going to stay too long on this game because we already know that the Giants are a dumpster fire. So the Baltimore Ravens should just run over the New York Giants. And basically what I'm saying is that this should be a blowout. This should be somewhere between a 30-3 game or 35-3 game because Baltimore, do the right thing. You got a bell cow running back and you haven't given him the ball in the last 3 games. You haven't given him the ball more than 15 times. And I'm going to tell you, one thing about this, Baltimore, when you win games, you give the ball. Derrick Henry has the ball more than 20 times. The Baltimore Ravens win games. When the Baltimore Ravens give the ball to Derrick Henry less than 20 times, they lose the game. And they depend on, and like I said, Lamar Jackson, he is a quarterback. He can win with his arm and he can win with his legs. But even though he is able to throw the ball, sometimes Lamar Jackson, he just got to take off and run. He really do. And in this game against the New York Giants, he should be able to do that with no problem because we know that it is just a clown show in the Big Apple with both teams. It's a clown show with the New York Giants and the New York Jets. And in this game, the Baltimore Ravens are a 16.5 point favorite, and they should be able to win this game. They really should. If they don't win this game, I am going to come in here Monday morning and tell all of you that put a bet on the Baltimore Ravens to win the Super Bowl, pull your bet because it doesn't make any sense. You got a bell cow running back that's 260 pounds that lifts over 4,000 pounds as far as his strength, and you don't run and you haven't ran him, you haven't called any running plays for him more than 25 times, just 3 times throughout this season. You're not valuing Derrick Henry when you don't give him the ball 25 times. You're not. You're just not. So that's all I got. That's all I have to say about the Baltimore Ravens and the New York Giants. The next game I want to cover is the Dallas Cowboys and the Carolina Panthers. Now, the Carolina Panthers, they are a 3-point favorite. Like I said, when it comes to this point, my Dallas Cowboys, we can just call a buck a buck. We know we're not going anywhere. And like I said, back in September, it's time for the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys are just gonna have to take a back seat. Micah Parsons, he is another person. He is just gonna have to, we just gonna have to take a back seat, Micah. That's all. Carolina, Bryce Young, I like what I'm seeing going into next season. He is going to be the starter no matter what. And for the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry, Mr. Jones, that my offer is still on the table, Mr. Jones. I can get you what you need because you need a running back. We need we don't just need one running back. We need 3 good running backs because when one running back goes down, we have 2 others. And basically this year it has just been running back by committee. And we know that in a football team, they don't fare well by just having multiple running backs on their roster and not having a bell cow running back. See, Ezekiel Elliott used to be a bell cow running back earlier on in his career, but it just seems like he's had a downfall and he hasn't been able to increase his level of play. He hasn't. So that's all I have for the Dallas Cowboys and Carolina Panthers game. The next game I want to cover is the New York Jets and the Jacksonville Jaguars. 2 more teams that are bottom of the damn barrel. You got New York Jets prior to this season coming in, Super Bowl aspirations. And in August, I said, y'all not getting to the Super Bowl. I said, y'all might not even make it to the playoffs. And that's exactly what has happened. They are not making it to the playoffs. The Jacksonville Jaguars, you had Shad Khan saying that this is the best team ever orchestrated in Jaguars history. And you see what the team is now. You see that. I mean, really, you see that. So this game right here, if I was a betting man, I would stay away from this game because you don't know what you're going to see from the Jets or the Jaguars. But if I had, from a journalistic perspective, this game, I don't even want to pick, nobody wants to pick this game from a journalistic perspective. But if I had to, I would go with the New York Jets. Okay, so yeah, New York Jets, hey, you might get a win and you might not, but who cares? You're picking high in the draft anyway. The next game I want to cover is the Miami Dolphins and the Houston Texans. Now, Houston, they need this game. They really do because they have 7 wins. They are a game and a half up on the Indianapolis Colts. And the Indianapolis Colts have been surging for the last couple of weeks. They have been surging for the last couple of weeks. And also, the Miami Dolphins, when it comes to playoff clinching scenarios, for them is win out. Cincinnati needs to lose a couple games. Denver needs to lose a couple of games. This is a long list, so just bear with me, audience. For Miami Dolphins, win out. They need the Indianapolis Colts to lose 2 games. They need the Denver Broncos to lose 2 games. They need the Cincinnati Bengals to lose 2 games. They need another team. They need the They need the Houston Texans to lose a couple games. They also need the Buffalo Bills to lose a couple games. So it's just so many scenarios for the Miami Dolphins to get into the playoffs, but they got to win on the field first. And do I see them winning this game in Houston? No, I don't. I don't see the Miami Dolphins winning this game. Plus, what gets the Miami Dolphins? They're not going to make it very far in the playoffs because historically, when they play in cold weather climates, they always lose. They do. So I got the Houston Texans winning this game. The next game I'm going to cover is the Indianapolis Colts and Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos are going to win this game. The Indianapolis Colts, this was a rebuilding year for them. It really was a rebuilding year for them. But the Denver Broncos, Sean Payton, I congratulate Sean Payton. I congratulate Vance Joseph and the entire Denver Broncos organization because 2 years ago, we all know what it was like for the Denver Broncos 2 years ago. Now for Sean Payton and everybody on that coaching staff to have a complete overhaul and make this team a playoff contender in just a year and a half, that's an accomplishment for Sean Payton. So I bow my head to you, Sean Payton. Now, they're going to win this game right out because Indianapolis, I don't see them going to the Rocky Mountains in Denver. I don't see them winning this game. The Denver Broncos, they are currently the 7th seed right now. If they win out and have the Indianapolis Colts lose a couple games, also have the Miami Dolphins lose a couple games, and also have the Cincinnati Bengals lose a couple games, the Denver Broncos will be able to play for the playoffs as the 7th seed. So that's what I see. That's what I see. Now, the next game is possibly a Super Bowl preview, and this is the game of the week in everybody's opinion. Buffalo Bills and the Detroit Lions. Now, I'm going to tell you, the Buffalo Bills this season, 10-2. The Detroit Lions, 12-1. So, both of these teams, they have a dominant offense. Both of these teams have a dominant defense. But Dan Campbell has always said throughout the entirety of this season, when you come to the Motor City, you better bring backup because we're going to beat you. And I believe that the Detroit Lions are going to beat the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are going to have to go into Kansas City if they are lucky enough to make it to the AFC Championship and try and win over Kansas City once again because they messed up last week losing to the Rams. They did. And now they are going to mess up this week because now when it comes to the Detroit Lions, we all know that it's a tough home field advantage for the Detroit Lions. Going into Detroit and winning is a tough task. After this game, the Buffalo Bills have the Patriots twice and the New York Jets once. So they are going to end the season on a 3-game winning streak, but the 2 games that they needed most was the Los Angeles Rams and the Detroit Lions, and they are going to lose both of those games. So the Detroit Lions, I have them winning this game by by I got them winning this game by a touchdown because make no mistake about it, this game is going to be close. This game is going to be close no matter what, but home field advantage and Dan Campbell's play calling is what's going to help the Detroit Lions win this game. The next game I'm going to cover is the Pittsburgh Steelers and Philadelphia Eagles. Now, last time the Pittsburgh Steelers won a game in Philadelphia was 1965, people. 1965 was the last time the Pittsburgh Steelers won a game in Philadelphia. Now, that is 59 years. Everywhere else, the Pittsburgh Steelers have won. But when it comes to Philadelphia, that's why I say Philadelphia has a uncharted territory. Philadelphia is a uncharted territory when it comes to a home field advantage. But not for the Steelers, not beating one team in 59 years in Philadelphia. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense because this is a team that has won 6 Super Bowls. And basically, Pittsburgh, over the years, they've had a great deal of defense and a great amount of offense. But when it comes to traveling to Philadelphia, they have not been able to win in Philadelphia since 1965. And not to mention, all of a sudden, it seemed like the Philadelphia Eagles are having locker room problems. Now, we already know that the media is going to take this bull crap and run with it however they might want to. But A.J. Brown, he is saying that they need to improve in the passing game more. To the media out there, that does not mean that they are having problems in the locker room. Do you know the specific amount of pass yards that they have been averaging throughout this 10-game winning streak? If you don't, I am going to tell you. As far as passing games throughout this 10-game winning streak, the Philadelphia Eagles have been averaging 195 yards, averaging throughout this 10-game winning streak through the air. Through on the ground, they are averaging 250 yards. 210 yards on the ground. So the media is trying to make what a player on the Philadelphia Eagles said in A.J. Brown a problem. Everything is good with the Philadelphia Eagles at this point in time. I would rather have a dominant run game rather than a pass game because a team that passed 75% of the time, they have a chance that's 75% of the time you throw the ball, you have a chance of the ball getting intercepted. But if you run the ball 65% of the time, you already have the ball in your hands now. They will be able to fumble the ball. If they haven't had the ball fumble, they would be able to get down the field. But when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles, they don't need to change up nothing. They don't need to change up nothing. Now, Nick Sirianni, whatever y'all got to say about Nick Sirianni, that's between y'all. Nick Sirianni, he is an average coach, but one thing that gets me with the Philadelphia Eagles, they let their analytics department call their plays for them. That's why I say when it comes to coaching in any sport, people, they make coaching seem harder than what it is. If you have a bell cow running back like Saquon Barkley, give the ball to that joker and let him run 200 yards over a defense and get the hell out of there with a win. No matter how many times this wide receiver gets the ball, or this wide receiver gets the ball, or this tight end gets the ball, at the end of the day, the most important stat is whether you won or lost. So everybody out there in the media that is trying to start burning a bridge in the Philadelphia Eagles organization, you need to stop it, because Philadelphia is going to be one of those teams that are going to be in the thick of things come late January. They are going to be in the NFC divisional round. They might even make it to the NFC championship game. But all in all, there is no problem in Philadelphia right now. There isn't. So the media needs to stop making problems, because this team is going to make it to the playoffs. So this game, I have the Philadelphia Eagles winning this game. The streak continues of 59 years not being able, of the Pittsburgh Steelers not being able to go to the, not being able to go to Philadelphia and win a game in Philadelphia. I got the Philadelphia Eagles winning this game by a touchdown. The next game I'm going to cover is the New England Patriots and Arizona Cardinals. I'm not going to waste any time. I got the Arizona Cardinals. I expect Kyler Murray to have a good game. I expect Marvin Harrison Jr. to have a good game. And I expect the defense to have 2 turnovers, because the New England Patriots, they are not a good team when it comes to protecting the ball. The next game I'm going to cover is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Los Angeles Chargers. Another game, Los Angeles Chargers, they lost a close one and a heartbreaker to the Kansas City Chiefs last week. Now, this week, they are going to win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because one thing about it, I don't know if y'all noticed, but Tampa Bay is leading the NFC South, even though the Atlanta Falcons swept them. But the Atlanta Falcons, they have been on a 5-game losing streak, and they are in danger of losing their chance at making the playoffs as a division winner. So Los Angeles Chargers are going to win this game. They have the second ranked rushing attack in the NFL, and Justin Herbert, he hasn't thrown that many interceptions this year. So I have the Los Angeles Chargers winning this game by a touchdown. The next game I want to cover is the Green Bay Packers and Seattle Seahawks. I believe Green Bay will win this game, because Seattle, they have just been up and down all season. Like the past 4 games they've won. Now I'm expecting these next 2 or 3 games for them to lose, because they started off 3-0, then lost 4 straight, then won 2, and then lost, then won. Then they're on a 4-game winning streak as of right now. Seattle is just an average team, and that's just not me saying it. That's from NFL executives and from other journalists like me saying that the Seattle Seahawks are just an average team, and Green Bay, they are going to go deeper into the playoffs than the Seattle Seahawks. They just are, because Seattle, this is the first year of a new head coaching regime, Jim McDonald. So this is the first year of a new head coach. This is a learning year for him. Next year, Seattle might be able to make some hay and go deeper into the playoffs. Maybe, maybe not. But this year is just about done for the Seattle Seahawks. Green Bay Packers, you 9-4. You are currently the 5th seed in the NFC playoff picture. Now, let's see what you can do in a hostile environment in Seattle, Washington, and come out with a win. Now, the next two games I'm going to cover is the Monday Night Football bash or collaboration, whatever you want to call it, Chicago Bears and Minnesota Vikings, and the Atlanta Falcons and Las Vegas Raiders. Now, the Las Vegas Raiders are going to lose this game because from what I'm hearing, speculation is that they already have their draft pick in the bag when it comes to Shedeur Sanders. Now, okay, if speculation serves me right, and if those rumors are true, they need to go on ahead and build an offensive line around Shedeur Sanders. That's if the Las Vegas Raiders are going to draft Shedeur Sanders #1. Atlanta is going to win this game because if they don't, then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if some way they win versus the Los Angeles Chargers and the Falcons lose, there'll be 2 games up on the Atlanta Falcons. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be 2 games up on the Atlanta Falcons with 3 games left. So Tampa Bay would automatically be NFC South champions, but there's a lot at stake for this game for the Atlanta Falcons. Now, for the first game of Monday Night Football, Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota, they are going to win this game. It is going to be a close game because they're both divisional rivals, and both teams know what each other does best, and it's just a matter of consistently stopping what your opponent does best when it comes to these division games. So I got Minnesota, and I also got the Atlanta Falcons winning on Monday Night Football. And with that, those are my predictions and outlook for Week 15 of the 2024 NFL season. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, click the notification bell to get notified of all of my reaction videos, shows, and other content. And please like, share, follow Key City Sports on TikTok. And remember one last thing, the key is always on time.